Hello to everyone just joining us. Welcome to our session today, How North Platte Public Schools Foundation Significantly Elevated Their Fundraising Results in Just 5 Days. We have a lot of people pouring into the Zoom room, but if you are just joining us, make sure you utilize the chat box at the bottom of your screen to let us know where you're joining from. Drop a hello so we can see who we have on. We're very excited to be here with you all today, and we'll get started shortly. All right, well, we are at the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and get started on our session today. We will be recording everything, so no need to take notes. You will receive a copy of the actual recording of the session as well as the PowerPoint presentation. So let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to How North Platte Public Schools Foundation Significantly Elevated Their Fundraising Results in Just 5 Days. To go over a quick agenda, we're going to be doing a welcome introduction. We're going to hear from you, hear from our fantastic guests on the North Platte Public Schools Foundation. We'll talk a little bit about their 2024 Change Wars Team Fundraising campaign, and then how they implemented that with ExceedFurther Team Fundraising, and how you can also do the same. And we will get into questions and answers. This is an interactive session, so at any time, if you do have a question, you can feel free to put it in the chat box, or the best way is to put it in the Q&A box so we can keep track of everyone who is asking questions, and we will make sure we get all of your questions answered. All right, to introduce our fantastic panel, I'll start with Terri Burchell. She is the Executive Director of the North Platte Public Schools Foundation. How are you today, Terri?
Doing great, thanks.
Awesome. And then we have Sylvia Gastelbondo, who is the Chief Technology Officer of Arreva. Thanks for being here today, Sylvia.
Oh, I'm excited and more excited to be with Terri and share the wonderful experience that they have had with Team Fundraising to bring funds to their schools. So it's been really a very nice journey, and I'm super proud to be supporting Terri.
Awesome. And I'll be your moderator for today. My name is Gabriella Slemy, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Arreva. All right, so we're going to start today's session with a quick poll. We want to know from you, how many fundraising events do you run a year? Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or more? A fundraising event can be anything from a walk or run to a gala to an auction, a golf tournament, maybe friend building events and that aren't particularly fundraising events. So we just want to know, how many events are you running a year typically? We have a lot of answers coming in, so I'll give you all a few minutes to answer that. All right, and then I'll put these results up so everyone can see. So it seems like the majority of you are running 2 events a year, which is great. And then it's kind of spread out throughout. So we have a really diverse crowd on the call today. The next thing we'd like to know, and this is something we hear frequently, are you familiar with the difference between peer-to-peer fundraising and team fundraising? They are very similar, but there are some key differences between them that we're going to talk a little bit about today. So maybe you've never heard of the term team fundraising as well too, or maybe you never heard of peer-to-peer fundraising, which is okay as well, but just helps us know what we should go into on this call. All right, go ahead and share these results. So it seems like the majority of you are pretty familiar with the difference between the two, which is great to see. But there are some of you who aren't sure what those are, what they do. So we're going to be talking about that today. You're in the right place. All right, and then Terri, I'll go ahead and pass this over to you.
Great. Hopefully you'll be able to switch the screens for me. Thank you. Welcome, everyone. It's exciting to see where everybody is from. Some great places. I'm really jealous of the Florida and 80 degrees because it's about 30 degrees here in Nebraska. So I've been fundraising for over 15 years, mainly in education, from higher ed to now K-12, actually pre-K to 12. So I'm always looking for ways that are going to help build friends along the way with doing fundraising. Currently, I've been in this job for almost 5 years at North Platte Public Schools, and you can see a little bit about me on the screen. We have almost 4,000 students and 700 employees, so getting engagement internally is always important for me. I've done Major Gifts campaign, and having that buy-in from internal is always key for me, and also from the parents and students. So I'm excited to talk to you more about one way of doing things. I will say I'm not a big event person, so I was very excited how much we were able to elevate Change Wars by using our products that we already have, our CRM. I came into it, didn't know much about it, and learned a lot. And now it's just elevated it to a next level. So I'm anxious to teach you all about it. So as I mentioned, I've been with the school district, well, actually the foundation. We are autonomous from the district, but I get to be housed at their administrative building and have IT support and those kind of things. And when I say IT support, we'll get to that throughout the presentation of what I mean by that. They do supply me with a laptop, but not necessarily the back-end experiences like Arreva does. So historically, we have had Change Wars, and it has always been about students collecting money in the classrooms and giving an opportunity to the teachers to teach them about giving back or about philanthropy. So it has really come a long way. It started out with 2 weeks of gathering up change and having parent-teacher organizations involved with it. And in 2021, when I kicked it off, that was a lot of work. And so I wanted to make it a little bit more efficient. And I wanted to also find a way to engage our alumni and our community a little bit better. When I came into this position, it had been a while since I had any kids in the district. And so I knew I didn't know everything going on. So how do we create that and help the district tell their story along the way? And now this last year was our 4th year of using Arreva Team Fundraising. And we keep reaching our goal and exceeding it, which has been really exciting. And it's great when Sylvia sends me an email, you've reached your goal. So I love the support that I have on the back end from that. So once I was introduced to Team Fundraising, it really did just elevate it to a different level. That first year, I will admit, was a little bit rough just because I wasn't used to using the software, but Sylvia and her team were great at walking me through it and also helping me with getting everything implemented. We really were I felt that we were pioneering this with the company to some degree because we were debating between peer-to-peer team fundraising. How do we kind of blend that together? And what does that look like? Because for those of you who are familiar with education, teachers are very busy, administrators and principals are all very busy. So how are we still going to make it easy for them? And still maintain that traditional change, because kids can identify with that quarter, that penny, that dime, and know that they're making a difference by bringing that change to the point where we've even had parents get a call from the office that Susie forgot her change at home. Can you bring it? So, and they do, which is great. So we're still able to do those jars in the classrooms, and we're able to add on this online component that we're able to reach more people, more families, and to the point where this last year, there was even a competition across state lines on which one of the grandkids was going to raise the most money. So it's been a lot of fun. Once we really brought this technology aspect to the foundation and to the teachers, they really appreciated it. They felt like this was another way that they could share the information and extending that reach to get more participation from friends and family. If any of you have had a school-age kid, you sometimes get those emails from some of those other companies of saying, hey, help Susie's classroom raise some money. She's maybe going after a trinket. And so we kind of took off from that just a little bit. Susie doesn't necessarily get that trinket, but they do get a celebration and they get awards depending on how well their classroom and their school does. So it really did get that ability to bring that together online and in-room fundraising and tracking all in one great place. In fact, it's built up my CRM that I've got new donors that we're able to reach out to because we know that the schools are important to them. So as far as the Change Wars Team Fundraising campaign, you know, we really wanted to have it to be fun and challenging and competition between all the schools. The district is very much on board with this, which is great. We do have a great relationship with them. So we do, but it's because the foundation and my board are able to do some of that back end work, which I think we'll talk about in a little bit. But our main focus as a foundation and a board was to really still not lose the actual change in the classroom and giving that learning for the teacher to have that opportunity to talk about paying it forward for their community. This last year, the principals in all of the schools had a goal that they wanted to meet for a specific, one school wanted new playground equipment. One school wanted a book because they decided one book, one school. And so they all wanted to have one book purchased for every student in that building. So we do take it across all of our schools. And I would say 2 years ago, we switched it up and we added our middle schools and our high schools, which typically they have never been involved in it. And so last year was a little rough and this year got a lot better. So it's been fun to see that growth and that expansion. And now we're finally, after 4 years, starting to see a little bit more alumni engagement along the way. We did shorten that up to 7 days from 14 as it originally was. And all of the team leads are the principals and the teachers. The teachers are those team captains. We do list the principal basically for those alumni who maybe went to a Cody school or a Buffalo school and they would just like to give back to the school. They don't necessarily know the teachers or have any connection, but they would like to support that school still. So all of those things take time. Anytime you try anything new, especially in fundraising, it does take 3 or 4 years before it finally lifts. And so I've been very glad that Arreva has stuck with me through this too and made tweaks along the way to make it even better. And they've had suggestions along the way. So we do have a real-time team fundraising going on. Because when that change is brought in, then I am adding that in on the back end. Everything else is coming in through credit cards. And then I've got a wonderful bank here in town, First Interstate Bank, that works with me and their tellers. Every day count that change. I've got 2 volunteers now instead of a plethora of volunteers when I first started, which is great. The more volunteers, the better. If you can find somebody dedicated to that school for those 7 days, or actually it's only 5 because we do it through 2 days through the weekend, to pick up that change, take it to the bank, and then the bank teller lets me know how much each classroom has. And we'll get to some of that communication that we give to the schools, I think, next. Is that on the next slide? So yes, so here's the communication that we sent to the administrative assistants. We supply them with the baggies. Every classroom has 5 baggies to get them through the week. The administrative assistant usually goes around and picks up all the baggies every day for us. We come pick it up around 9:30. Most of our schools start between 8 and 8:30, so all those classrooms already have their change. That's the first order of business in their classroom. And some of the kids even get the privilege of going around and helping the administrative assistant pick up the baggies along the way. We try to get this communication to them at the very beginning of the school year so that they know it's coming. Then we also make sure that the parents are aware. This year we did change it up that usually it's been our Change Wars ends on a Wednesday and we celebrate that Friday. But what we found is a lot of families weren't prepared to come and celebrate with us that very next Friday, because all of the top classrooms get to walk on the football field prior to one of our football games. So we moved it down a week, which has given everybody a little bit more time. And to the point where now we have entire schools showing up. It was packed this year. It was so exciting to see all the families and the friends showing up, employees, teachers, walking and representing their school, the football team. We've got a big tunnel walk through, and the football team was at the end of that tunnel giving all the kids high fives. Those were just for the elementary school kiddos. And the high schoolers at the end on the football team also obviously were part of Change Wars. So that really helped. Also, the district sends out 2 texts for us, one at the beginning of Change Wars and one saying this is the last day. Don't forget your change. And then we communicate throughout that week. We try to remind people the week before, hey, here it comes. And then we let people know who the Change War leaders are, what school, what classroom. And that's where the competition really starts to take place amongst the community and the teachers within the same building. And just it's really a social media thing. I don't pay for any advertising. Our local radio station, because I am a nonprofit, both of our radio stations allow me to go on and talk about Change Wars and then talk about the celebration at the end to make sure that they're coming to the football game to celebrate all those little kiddos on the field. Because of course we want a packed stadium. We already have good turnout, but we want even better turnout. So just that reminder to the community that this is happening, and please support us. So that last day of Change Wars is very, very busy from the standpoint of parents are bringing in checks at the end of the school day as well. So we do have to go pick up one more round on Thursday because they see the posting and they're watching on the website of where we're at and where their teachers are. And they want to get their teacher over the finish line. And that's all because we're able to put that out using the Arreva product. So as I mentioned before, we make it easier for each teacher and each school to already be set up. So we do that setup. Sylvia and her team is amazing to work with. So, and then we've created that team for each classroom, and then the teacher is that team captain. And then we're able to take that. And Sylvia, did you want to jump in here and talk about how we developed that way to copy this so we weren't having to everybody?
Sure, absolutely. One of the key things also that I wanted to mention, Terri, just listening to you, is that the first go around, everybody was coming back from COVID. So it was a little tough, right? It was a tough year. And Terri basically said, we have this challenge. How can we help? We don't want to get the teachers busy or anything. So, Terri went through the process of finding out, all the teachers and all the classes. And we actually helped Terri create, all those teams and team pages for this first go around. After that, we developed a really nice option so that year after year, Terri just has to go in and copy everything, copy the event, the setup, just change the dates, change the wording for the 2022 or 2023 or 2024 or 2025 next year. And then, add an easy way where she can add the new teachers that are coming in or change the ones, if a teacher moved from kindergarten to first grade or from, whatever, so that she could have an easy way to change that and then make that easily available. But that copy feature was really, a savior that we brought in for Terri as one of our early adopters. And now obviously it's available for everybody. So year after year, the events can be copied, even to create a brand new one. And you can carry it over with the teams or without the teams, with the team, with the team members or without, and they start fresh blank. So that was a nice feature. So it was suggested by Terri, and we implemented it and made it available to everyone. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, otherwise it's just a lot of data entry.
Yeah. Yeah, because ideally people go in and create their own team and people join. But, for your setup, you didn't want to keep make the teachers busy doing that. Although, it's quite simple. We'll talk a little bit about it later for other, types of events where that might be very applicable. Okay.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And then we also made it easy. So then each teacher could share out their own link. I did go ahead and take it a step further. And I sent each teacher an email. Well, actually, the system did. They received their email that they can share with their family and friends with their specific link to their specific page. And so it was just really easy for them to tell a friend and to make it shareable on social media if they chose to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And again, when I mentioned this before, this is those leaderboards that we were talking about. That the reason I enter that change on the background is because it can make a difference on the online giving of what that looks like for each one of the participating team captains and how much. So every day that physical change is entered on the background for each teacher. It didn't take very long. I usually just had to finally carve out about an hour and a half of my day to make sure every classroom was updated. And the nice thing with that too is, again, all of those people, we were able to, in our ExceedFurther database, we just made a Change Wars person, so to speak. And that's how we were able to bring all the cash over. But then anyone who made that online donation, we ended up with their email address and what school they were supporting. And again, it helped build that database up for us as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that goes in automatically, so there's no need to re-enter or upload anything. It's all going into the database ready for matching. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and then as you can see, our results and outcomes have been amazing. Sylvia will probably totally attest to when I'm setting the goals of what we're going to do every year. I really hem-haw around, especially this year. This year has been just an interesting year with finances for everyone. And I didn't know if I really wanted to stretch it any further. So we just kind of kept it at that same 15,000 this year. And I was pleasantly surprised to exceed our expectations yet again from the community. It's always amazing. But I think because we had the ability to have that online portion along with the change, it has really made the difference, and it has given us the better results. My board appreciates it because they really don't need to do a lot. Occasionally I might ask them to go to a school to pick up change, but for them, this type of event, they love it. They praise it all the time because they don't have to be as involved. Like we do another event, and we've used Arreva for our text to bid services as well. And that's a whole other thing that takes my entire 13-member board to be there to put that on. And so this one they love for sure.
Yeah, and it was a nice way to bring 11 schools from your district, right, Terri, together with, as the number says, there are 213 teachers across the schools. So, all the kids, all the families engaged there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's always fun. And then, of course, we have a celebration at the end. And as I mentioned before, where the kiddos get to walk on the track on the football field, which is kind of like a forbidden thing. And so they are all sorts of excited to be able to do that. We get the cheerleaders and our dance team to come walk with the kids. The principals are willing to be there. And then our top teacher for every school actually has the privilege to walk. And then the top 4 schools in the district are able to bring their entire student body. Otherwise, we would have a lot of kiddos. And when we very, very first started, before my time, when they were doing Change Wars, all of the student body would walk around the high school building, and it took over 25 different volunteers. They raised maybe between 5,000 to 7,500 a year, and spent 2 weeks doing their Change Wars. And it was just, the way I looked at it was very time consuming. And I'm looking at creating awareness, and 2 weeks just got to be too long of, they're going to forget about it. Create that sense of urgency. So, and then of course we like to celebrate them. We have a backyard barbecue, let them walk across and get announced. The announcer announces them and their mascot. And hopefully we just keep growing this experience. I've already, I know I am not using my Further Exceed to all of its potential that it has. But I know another way that I would like to go back to, now that we've done this 4 years, next year will be our 5th year, is celebrating that 5th year, using those emails of those people that have already participated, letting them know it's coming, and really market to them that this is our 5th year. Let's really kick it up a notch and let's have a good time. All for the students. Everything always for the students.
Terri, you made a great point about marketing for next year's event to those emails that you collected, because it is an online event. You get all the benefits of crowdfunding, like using an online platform to be able to reach out to people who are not in your community, but you also get that information too. So you could even keep expanding your fundraising goal, which is really awesome to see.
Yes, I'm very excited.
Okay, so Terri, I'm going to jump in just to give a little bit of an overview to people about team fundraising. Please feel free to, jump in if you want to add anything from your school perspective and the usability. But the whole idea is that with team fundraising, takes you to, it's like embracing peer-to-peer, which is, I set up my fundraiser and I invite my friends and family. Here, everybody's, engaging under one umbrella, which is this big event, and also gives you the opportunity to create teams, join an existing team, participate as an independent, and that plays for other types of events that Terri has an option to expand in the future if needed, maybe allowing, let's say, the alumni to create their own fundraiser because it's really one click away. In this case, Terri needed everything pre-set up for the reasons that we mentioned, so that's also an option. Another nice option is that team fundraising can work virtually, like for all the online giving that Terri has mentioned. It can also work in conjunction with a real walk or a real, gala where you're doing some fundraising there. So you get the combination of both worlds, doing online, virtual, or online for a real event, or a combination of both. One of the key things that Terri has highlighted is that transactions get posted in real time. So those dashboards get updated in real time so people can really see how you're giving. And then if you have some of this back end, like the change that was being collected at the schools, have a nice way with some manual entries to really register that quickly into the system to get those leaderboards updated. But Terri also highlighted a couple of very interesting points, and that is that created a lot of awareness. Not only that goes beyond the technology. It's really, engaging people about this wonderful way to raise funds for a great cause, creating awareness, and expanded your donor base. So now you have a lot more donors that are coming in, and it's actually your constituents, whether it's the teachers, the families, the students, the people that you're benefiting, who are promoting these kinds of campaigns and bringing that fundraising into the organization. Okay. If we go to the next slide, Gabby. Yeah. Okay. So, very seamless. All participants can, in some other scenarios, and this is something that Terri may want to explore in the future, allow anybody to come in and join. And so it gives you some options, right? We've had some clients where you start with no teams, and people are just invited to create a team and others to join. Or you can have them private like Terri wanted it, all the teachers pre-set up, make it super easy on the community, and just have them come in and give. So it's a really nice feature. It's fully responsive, so you can run it on a PC, you can run it on your phone. It becomes available from any touch point. Okay.
Sylvia, that brings up a good point. I think you could almost use this for, especially if you were a community foundation, you could use it for Giving Day and let the organization set up a spot for their organization to be there and treat it like.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely, Terri. And one of the key things is that you can run it in conjunction with other campaigns. You can have unlimited, you can have, let's say, your Change Wars, but then you can also kick in your Giving Day, or you can kick in a holiday team fundraiser, or in combination with peer-to-peer or with simple donations. So, it lets you pick the best, the most applicable to depending on the campaign that you want to run. We just wanted to mention that, with Arreva, Team Fundraising, and all of our fundraising tools that we offer are really about your organization. We want to make sure that it's supporting your cause. It's you in front of your donors and your community at all times. You never see, the Arreva name anywhere. It's all about you guys. It's your branding. It's your information, and the money's going directly to you, right? We're not holding anything. It just goes everything directly to you. And again, reinforcing that you can track results real time with the leaderboards, and you get to choose which leaderboards you want to show. Some cases you just want to show, the top teams and the top participants. Some other cases you want to show the top donors. Here, I understood that it was a little sensitive. You wanted to make sure that donors, the parents, may be giving more to one grade to the other. So it's something that, Terri knows in the back who's giving what, but wanted to just keep the top teams in front of everybody at all times, so people could just come in and make a donation on that team. And there's different ways. You can click on the page that you get invited to with the tell a friend option, or you can go to a general donation page and choose which team you want to support. So it brings a lot of different ways where people can engage. Okay. Notifications is very important. There's multiple forms of notifications. There's the tell a friend to invite people. So if I am the team captain of my own page, I can use that little click, and there's a preset, let's say, template that Terri has generated with content that can be sent, but filled in with your specific webpage, so it brings people to your page. There's also, when people make a gift, automatically there's a thank you note to that donor. There's a notification to that team captain that somebody made a donation. And there's also a notification to the administrator, in this case, Terri in the back, knowing that there's a lot of movement happening. So you know where donations are coming into. Okay, very nice. And that's a little bit about, team fundraising. And I'll just pass it on to Gabby. I think you want to run a little bit of a post, right?
Yeah, no, you're going to see another poll pop up on your screen here. Terri talked a lot about team fundraising and how it really benefited her organization. So if you'd like to learn more about team fundraising and get a demo of the product, get into it. And it doesn't have to be for just Change Wars. I mean, Sylvia, what are some of the different kinds of fundraisers you can run with team fundraising?
Oh yeah, we've had quite a variety. We've had several for actual walks that are taking place. We had one very interesting one, which was for a gala, and they wanted teams for the tables that were participating at the gala, so that it was like a awareness of the event that was happening. We've had some that is for a chef cook, where the chefs are actually competing and they are posting their video on their page, and people are voting with their donation to see which one is the one that's going to raise the most amount of money. We had one for Dancing with the Stars. So, people were just raising the funds virtually. So we've had quite a few. We had one really nice one from one of our RMHC chapters, which was just a Raise for Love campaign, where people were just raising, depending on the amount, would go to different services that they provide. But it was just a fundraising, a little bit like the Change Wars, except that people were just giving, to either have people come in and stay for a night or two, or for some meals. So there's a lot of different ways that team fundraising can be used.
That's great. And then going into talking a little bit about Arreva, who we are, what we have really been able to do in the industry and as a company is solve some of the biggest challenges that we saw nonprofits facing, whether that was, limited integrations between solutions that manage your donor activity that don't speak together, causing, tedious data entry. We really took everything and we put it in one platform, and it's known as ExceedFurther. Every module you see in the cloud is completely integrated and fully automated into one database. We've been in the nonprofit industry for over 3 decades. We have over 6,000 clients. We're nationally vetted and approved by Ronald McDonald House Charities. I believe we have 85% using our software. Variety, Boys and Girls Club, Meals on Wheels, Jewish Federation, St. Vincent de Paul's, Catholic Diocese, Rotaries, the Tides Foundation, HHN, just to name a few. And we've done over 30,000 live, silent, virtual, and hybrid galas and fundraisers. And our software was built exclusively for the nonprofit industry. All these solutions you see here to manage your donors, your fundraising, client services, and auction software are all in the ExceedFurther platform. And really the benefit of it is you can pick and choose and you can add on as you continue to grow. So maybe one year you decide to add on Team Fundraising, you have the flexibility and the ability to do that. Maybe one year you decide to do an auction, you have the flexibility to bring in those products that are completely integrated into your donor management database, creating one unified 360-degree view of everything. Just some quick statistics just to show you our clients were eliminating 3 silos solutions on average, or 4 silo solutions on average, and there's a 3-week return on investment when using peer-to-peer. 100% of our clients achieve board giving, and they see an increase in site engagement of 215%. And kind of like what Sylvia was saying, how it's all about you. We're not like other vendors where we take you off of the website and bring you onto our site. Your donors remain on your page constantly on your site, so site engagement actually increases. Terri made a great point that anyone who sends out their team fundraiser, those emails are coming into their database. So our clients are acquiring new donors, and they're actually seeing on average a 300% increase in database constituents, which is fantastic because we know donor acquisition is one of the biggest challenges that nonprofits are facing today. And then just a couple of the other ways we service our clients. We are truly with you for good, whether it's through our client success team and your dedicated client success manager who's there to help you utilize your platform to its full extent, through online training. We have our Arreva Academy videos. We do educational webinars to show you how to go further with your software. Technical support. Our technical support is truly unmatched. I work with a lot of our clients. I hear from a lot of our clients and they rave about our technical support. You get a human on the phone 24 hours a day, chat, email, phone support. It's great. And yeah. And then if you did want to learn more about ExceedFurther, I still have that demo pull up. Make sure you request just a quick demo. Someone will give you a call from our team to share more if you have any questions or anything else you'd like to learn about. If there's no questions for our panelists, I'll go ahead and we'll end today's session. Thank you, Terri, so much. This was fantastic. It's so inspiring seeing what you've been able to do over the past 4 years. And you're one of our favorite Arreva clients, so we're so happy to have you on this webinar today.
Well, thank you. Yes, I appreciate, I didn't understand or knew what Arreva was. I always came from, I'll be honest, it was, you always hear of Salesforce or Razor's Edge, and the cost comparison is crazy. You guys are very affordable for the services that you get. It is unparalleled customer service, which I appreciate so much. I really honestly would not be able to do the fundraising that we're doing if it wasn't for having ExceedFurther and understanding everything that Arreva has to offer. We've been able to use so many of your services, and it really is one solution. The part I love the best is when they make that donation, they're instantly into our database, and we're able to print off that thank you letter for their donation right away and get that in the mail, because that's something that's very important to me, is to acknowledge those people that are giving of their money, whether that's $1 or if it's $10,000, they all need to be treated the same. And your company has been able to help me stay on top of all of that, because it's myself and a half-time assistant that does more of the alumni coordination. So it's not like I have a big office.
That's awesome to hear. Thank you so much, Terri.
Yeah, thank you so much, Terri. Thank you so much for that. We've also learned a lot from you and from the schools, and how our solution, how our technology can really bring value to different scenarios like the ones that you're in charge of. So hopefully this will be also an inspiration to others who can take advantage of this and use it in their environment. So I wanted to thank you, Terri, for joining us, and also thank everybody who participated, and Gabby for facilitating and making all of this happen.
Thank
Do
you.
you have any questions?
No questions yet that I can see. But if there are any questions, you can always email us and we'll make sure to get those submitted to you. Thank you everyone for joining us today for our session. Oh, see one in the chat box here. Oh, thank you. Thank you from Terri. Thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you on our next Arreva webinar. We hope you make it a great day. Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Happy holidays.